Hi, I'm Ray from Toshi, and in this video I'll be walking you through how to set up the English spelling routine for your child. Before we start setting up the routine, make sure to have the profiles already set up for yourself or any other adults who may be supervising the child who's doing the spelling practice. That may be your spouse, your helper, or even grandparents who may be caregiving for the child. And you can do that at the bottom left hand corner of the Toshi web app under manage profiles, and you can see here that I have profiles already set up for myself, my kids, and my helper. And then what you can do if you want to add someone is to click add profile, person, and then fill in the relevant details over here. To set up the routine, go to the top right hand corner, click the green button called routine, and then you will want to select spelling practice. This whole flow is exactly the same for Chinese things here as well, but for the example today we'll be using the English spelling practice. And then you click select. So you'll end up at this page, and over here basically the system is just trying to find out who's the child who needs to do the spelling practice and which adult will be helping the child to supervise. So over here, my older daughter, she's the one having the spelling practice, and you will also need to select the calendar whereby these entries will appear. So for her, I've created a calendar called education. If it has not yet been created, don't worry, you can also create one over here on the spot. Okay, and if let's say you didn't manage to add profiles, you can also add over here. Next, you want to select who's the adult who's supervising the child so that those entries will also appear in the adult's calendar. So in this case, I'll be the one supervising, so I'll click my name, and I'll also have to select which calendar the entries to appear under. So for me, because it's something related to my family, I'll put under family. There's no right or wrong. You can also create a calendar called kids and move it under there. Okay. And next, this would be the fun part, which is how Toshi will use AI to extract all the spelling test words from the spelling list, as well as the test dates directly into your Toshi calendar. So for me, I already have it saved inside my desktop, so I'll click this left side, upload from browser, and I have term 3 spelling list here, and I'll click open. If you don't have it in your desktop yet and you have it and it's more convenient to take directly from your phone, you can also click the second option, which is send from phone. And then what you need to do is to scan this QR code with your phone and have the Toshi app downloaded. It will automatically prompt a photo taking page whereby you can just snap a photo of the spelling list, and then it will bring you back to the web app to continue setting up the routine. Okay, so I have my file uploaded here already. I'll click continue. So we'll just wait a few seconds for the AI to do its job. It's pretty quick. That was less than like 3 seconds. Okay, so at the top here, this yellow box, what we want you to do is to then determine which are the practice dates that you want your child to practice spelling. So for example, if the spelling is on Friday and you want her to practice like twice before the actual spelling test date, you can select Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then if you want a fixed practice time, you can select it here. But if her schedule is pretty flexible and you don't want to set a time, you can also click all day. So we typically also set a duration of 30 minutes, which is pretty safe to let them practice and then also use the audio playback function to test if they actually are familiar with the spelling words. So once you do that, you can click apply to all, and it will apply to all the subsequent upcoming spelling tests. So what we're setting here are the practice days, and then these are the actual test dates. So for instance, July 28th is the next spelling test, and then after that will be August 4th, and then it will be August 18th. So in this example, because the spelling test is on Tuesday itself, so we may want to set practice days to be perhaps Mondays and Fridays. Then I can click apply to all. So then say it will reset and apply to all, confirm. Okay. And here you will see that there's an exclamation mark that appeared here. What that means is the system is just telling you that there is another event that's happening on a Monday at 4:30. So she has swimming at this class, which means she can't practice at 4:30. So maybe what I would do is to change the practice time for all the practices to 7:30 then. Okay, and that works. If you want to change just particularly for the Monday, for example, you can just click here to change as well, instead of applying at the top. Okay, so you can see here that all the words have been extracted: spicy, bitter, sweet, and so on, etc. So just do a quick check against the physical paper to check that all the words have been extracted accurately. Otherwise, if something is missing or has been extracted wrongly, you can also manually add in the words here. Okay, and then same goes for the subsequent practice sessions as well. If there is an additional test that is not on the paper but you want to schedule it into the spelling routine, you can also manually add one over here. Okay, and it will prompt you to set up everything manually as well. Okay, so with this we can move on. We click continue, and to make it more specific, basically we just want to give this routine a name so that it's easy to come back to, because you might have multiple spelling routines, one for term 3, one for term 4. So I'm going to call it E1's term 3 spelling practice. Okay, and if you would like a reminder before the practice, you can select how long before the practice you would like the reminder to happen, and then this is whether or not you would like notification before the actual test date as well. And for this last part, it is under spelling plus function. So because this whole routine was designed for parents to kind of outsource the spelling practice to maybe their helpers or grandparents who will be there to support the child. So what we can do with spelling plus is, if, for example, your helper is helping to supervise your child while your child is practicing spelling independently, we allow for a notification to be sent to you as a parent if the practice was missed. So I can select, for example, after 30 minutes, if she was supposed to do practice at 7:30 on a Monday evening, but I'm not home yet and she has not done it yet, then at 8 o'clock, which is 30 minutes after 7:30, I would receive a notification to say that spelling practice not yet done. Okay, and for me in this example, I'll just put none and I'll click create routine. So this is the routine that we have just set up. If you want to make any edits, you can always go into the routines page over here and this shortcut over here and make any edits directly as if you wish. Okay, so let's see how it looks like on the calendar view. So because the next spelling test is on 28th of July and the practice sessions that we have scheduled are Fridays and Mondays. So you can see here that on the 24th of July and 27th of July, we have the spelling practice sessions already scheduled. And then it looks like that. So all the words to be tested are here. And I'll run through this in a minute. And then the actual spelling test date is on the 28th. So of course the child will be having the spelling test in school, right? If you have paid for Spelling Plus, or if you haven't done so, I would highly encourage you to do so. Basically, what Spelling Plus allows you to do is to generate practice worksheets, whereby the child is able to practice their spelling words by, looking at the word, and they can put tick here, and then they say the word, they read the word out loud, spicy, and then they cover the word, and then they actually practice spelling over here. So this worksheet is meant to help them do the actual spelling practice before they do the mini test at home, right? And then other than the worksheet itself, Toshi also allows to use this amazing audio playback function for the child to be tested independently even when you're not at home. So what happens is the child or the supervising adult, example your helper, can just click start practice.
Before we start the spelling practice,
and then this audio will play.
Pencil, eraser and paper ready. I will read each word or sentence out loud 3 times and give you time to write it down after. If you are not sure how to spell, just give it your best try. That is how we get better. Ready? Let's begin. Number 1. Spicy.
And in between they will allow for breaks as well, and the words will be repeated 3 times.
Spicy.
Okay, and then this goes on to the second word, bitter, and repeats 3 times, all the way until the spelling list, the test words have been all covered. So once the spelling practice has been done, the audio file has been played and completed, the next and final step would be to mark practice as done. So the whole point of this is to kind of log photo evidence that the child has finished the practice session, so that there's some feedback given to the parent who may or may not be at home at that point in time, and so that the parent will know whether or not the practice session has been done and completed. What needs to happen is to then take a photo of the completed practice sheet. It may be the worksheet that I showed previously, or it could be a photo of your child's notebook with the test words all written out by the child. And it's the same function whereby you can upload directly from your desktop, or if it's easier to send from phone, you can do that as well. And the child, if independent and able to do that, can do so. If not, the supervising adult can do it as well. To end off this video, I'll just show you how it looks like in your calendar. So there's an entry there to actually remind you that you need to administer the spelling practice. Basically, you can set up as many routines as you need to support your child in acing their spelling practice. And you can also do the same flow in the Chinese 听写 practice routine as well. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.